Hi, folks. This is Rick Doc Walker, the DOC.
This is John Kime, and you're listening to the Mess Hall with Rally Captain and Tailgate Ted.
What's going on, Rally? You ready for this tornado and crazy storms we're supposed to be getting today?
Hey, my hatches are battened down, brother. So bring it on. Let's do what we got to do. Just like they said in our preview, you're left, right, left. Let's march and get this thing done.
I'm right there with you, man. For those wondering, it is Monday, the 16th that we're recording this. If you're not in the DC area, we've got tornado watches all up and down. The federal government shut down at 2 o'clock today, telling everybody to go home, just considering how bad it's supposed to be. And about 10 minutes ago, out my window, looked like all hell was breaking loose. Now, looks like I can go back outside and go play some pickleball. So I'm not too sure what to expect. All I know is I got power right now. We got internet, so we're going to try and get this done.
Damn right. Damn right. I tell you what, Mother Nature, she is testy. She really is. Somebody stepped on her skirt. I don't know, man, but all I know is, sweetheart, please be kind to me and mine, and hopefully this will be the last cold snap that we have, and we can get these spring and summer temperatures on the way.
It was 80 last week.
Yeah.
And then it snowed the next day. I was at a conference in Annapolis, and they had a bunch of people flying in from all over the country. And these people were looking outside the window like they'd seen a ghost. I guess some of them had never seen snow before. And all of a sudden, it's just coming down. I mean, it didn't stick, didn't do anything, but my new car's black. You couldn't tell by looking at it. The whole thing was just covered in snow.
I like how you slid it in there. That new car. I like that. You could have said my car, plus less fortunate people, my new car. Okay, I feel you, brother.
It's been a while since I got a car. So, I saw you riding with your top down the other day on Instagram.
Who, what, where, when? Are you sure that wasn't me?
Oh, that was you, man. I hardly ever see you without a hat on, so I had to take a double take. But I saw you riding with your top down. Looked nice.
60 degrees. You got to do it, man.
I hear you, man. That Saturday, I played pickleball for 6 hours. It was just so nice outside.
Gosh.
I didn't leave. And I was this close to getting just Uber Eats sent to the court just so I could just hang out there. I found a granola bar that expired last year, and I was pretty close to eating it, but thank God somebody brought me something to eat instead of me.
I was gonna say, man, you're still here.
Yeah, I mean, I was getting desperate. Thank God somebody that was coming up brought me something because it was looking tasty after being out there for that long. But speaking of looking tasty, the Commanders definitely whet my appetite with what they've been doing in free agency, man. And I don't know about you, but my timeline on day one of the legal tampering period, you would have thought it was just doom and gloom, that the team got sold again and Jaden was out for 5 years, and just everybody was just so pissed off and so upset because they didn't make any moves. Like nothing happened. What did your timeline look like?
It was dry, bro. Well, I shouldn't say it was dry. I was very busy that day, so I really couldn't even pay attention if I wanted to. But some people did ask me, "Hey, what's going on? What are you seeing? What do you think?" And I didn't even have time to really even respond to them because I was just so busy. And I guess I'm glad that I was busy and I missed it because, it's not what happens in the beginning, it's what happens in the end. And I have to say that I'm very, very pleased.
I am too, right? And one of the big things they did that people just kind of didn't seem to care because he was under contract was extending Laramie Tunsil, right? Tunsil signed a 2-year, $61.5 million guaranteed contract extension. So I think he's here until 28 or maybe longer. I don't know exactly. But the fact that last year, Terry's contract got dragged out so long, and that was just a major mess. And everyone talked about, you can't let that happen again. You got to make sure you get Tunsil locked up because he's the type of player that is going to sit out and just isn't going to be there. And Peters made sure Tunsil was taken care of. So Jaden's left side's protected. We're all good there. To me, that was a huge win on day one, knowing that we weren't going to have to worry about just that mess. Some people blame Terry's holdout or hold in for how bad the season started last year. And I don't think that's what it was, but you just don't want to give fans a reason to complain about that. And Peters realized how important it was, and they locked him up big time.
Well, it's the butterfly effect, Ted. That's what it boils down to. That small little ripple is what people feel is what caused everything else to fall through the cracks. But hey, man, that was 2025. This is 2026. And I understand why people didn't really think that was a splash deal, if you will, or signing, is because he was already here type of deal. And it's like, yeah, okay, I get it. He's already here. And yeah, we needed a left tackle, but they're looking for that big splash signing. And so when that didn't happen, like you said, people were panicking. And I'm going to tell you, you got to equate these signings like popcorn. You turn the microwave on, it doesn't start popping right then. So give it a second, and it will pop. And you take it out at the right time. And that's what Adam Peters did. He waited until he heard that popcorn started popping, and he put butter on it, a little salt. And man, I'm ready to go to the movies this year with the team. Let's do it, baby. I don't care what anybody else says. I'm hyped up. We signed like 7 guys that I'd say are anywhere from A to B minus signings, if you will. Everything that we need to bolster our team. And we still got some more left. So just hold tight, guys. Hold tight.
So I put out on X, what grade do you give Adam Peters now that we're a week in? Because you had a bunch of people saying, what the hell's Peters doing? I mean, they were calling into the radio stations, just bad-mouthing the hell out the guy. You would have thought it was Bruce Allen, still our GM.
I'm glad I missed it. I'm glad I missed it.
Because it would have pissed you off. It pissed me off, right? Just people just raking them over the coals, just backing the bus over them 5 or 6 times. And then all of a sudden, just a flurry of people got signed. And we'll go over all the free agents that got picked up. There's a great article by Hogs Haven that's out there. I'll put a tweet of it. You guys get a chance to take a look at it. But I put, now that first week of free agency is in the books, what grade does Adam Peters deserve? 51% said an A, 44% said a B. Right? I mean, that's pretty high praise. Right?
I'll take it.
Just going down the list, right? This is the article from Hogs Haven. I'm going to paraphrase some of it, saying Adam Peters knocked the ball out the park during the first week of free agency. He addressed a ton of holes on this team. And Ben Standing put out this tweet. It's no secret. Last year, we had the oldest roster in the NFL. Everyone kept on bringing that up when they talked about how many injuries we had, how slow we were. Well, guess what? Now, these are just some of the guys. Odefe Oweh, 27 years old, ran a 4.36. Amik Robertson, 28, ran a 4.45. Leo Chenal, 25, ran a 4.53. Okonkwo, 26, ran a 4.52. Nick Cross, 24, ran a 4.34. Right? Speed kills. You can't coach speed. So they addressed a bunch of guys and brought them in. So Odefe Oweh, biggest signing in the offseason so far, 4-year, $100 million. Right? He was a former first-round pick out of Penn State, coming off of 7.5 sacks in 12 games. He had 2 starts with the Chargers after he was traded there by Baltimore in 25. Right? JP Finley tweeted out here that Oweh's RAS score was a 9.92. That RAS score is out of 10. So to get a 9.92 out of 10, pretty freaking good.
So forgive me for asking, but what exactly is a RAS score?
It's the relative athletic score. So during the combine, the draft prospects get a score that compiles up to 10. And Oweh's score was a freaking 9.92. The guy's a defensive end. We obviously need some pass rush, right? He's an edge. Our defense was the worst in the NFL, depending on which category you looked at statistically. Well, guess what they decided to do? address defense, right?
Yeah.
Moving on. They brought in, let's see here, stick with defense. Leo Chenal. Leo Chenal, 3-year, $24.75 million contract. Washington desperately needed an upgrade at linebacker, and they just got that with Chenal, 25 years old. Throwback linebacker from the 90s, but has the athleticism of today's NFL centerpiece. He never saw more than a 60% snap share in Kansas City, and he wasn't known for his coverage, but there is no better in the game today at stacking and shedding blocks at the point of attack. He's excelled as a blitzer, something Durante Jones likes from off-the-ball linebackers. I do think Chenal can be effective as a third down linebacker if he's not asked to do too much. He was the 103rd pick in round 3 in the 2022 draft. Guess what his RAS score was out of 10?
I'm going to say a 9.
9.99 out of 10.
Yeah.
Right. And this all pretty much solidifies that Bobby Wagner ain't coming back. And I'm not saying that that's 100% fact, but Bobby's still out there. Chenal's going to take that Mike spot. I don't see a spot for Bobby. And I thank him for everything he did here, but we talk about you need to get younger. You need to get faster.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? Bobby's not getting younger or faster.
No.
So
I hate to say that, but yeah.
Bringing this guy in, right, just fills a huge need, right? They brought back Tim Settle. Settle was here, and JP Finley brought this up. He was drafted a Redskin, played as a football teamer, and now he gets to come back as a commander, right? And there's only a handful of guys that have actually done that. I think that are still on the team. You've got Deron Payne, you've got Tress Way, you got Revo, and Terry are the only ones I think off the top of my head that have actually been all three, right? So Settle's coming home, right? The kid's from Manassas, and he just brings that energy, and he's going to play that nose right up front. So no one knows what Durante's defense looks like, but Minnesota played a 3-4, right? We've been playing a 4-3 here. So we need someone, if he's going to run that, to be that nose tackle right up there in that middle.
Yeah. And what I like, man, is when you look, so I took a picture with him, and everyone knows the saying, fans don't get to wear the rally chain. Well, Settle, with his baby face when he came on board, he was able to wear the chain. And I loved it for him back then, and I love it for him now. The guy is a serious hole filler, and with some speed. The young man that has some speed. So I'm looking forward to seeing him. And maybe this training camp he'll put the other rally chain on. I'm gonna have a picture of that and say, remember this? Come on, let's duplicate it, brother. Let's go.
There you go, man. I'm hoping to be out there with you. It's gonna be fun because what I remember about Settle is the guy is just full of energy and just smiles, man. And he just looks like he's having a blast out there. Looks like he's having a good time.
Yeah.
Right. And most likely, I think Settle's going to be kind of a probably not a starter, maybe a fill-in piece to come in, but who knows, right? You said training camp. We'll see what happens. He plays his way into that spot. Then they brought in Amik Robertson. Robertson's cornerback. He's most likely going to play slot, I believe is what they were talking about. He's 5'9", 187, but they're saying, dude, the dog. He's coming off a little bit of a down year, but he's one of 2 quarterbacks in the NFL listed at 5'8", but the guy shined against some top-tier talent, right? So to see him come in, it's just they're addressing needs. Robertson was with the Lions, and he was one of the top 90 free agents out there.
Yeah.
So they knew what they needed to address, and it was defense. And so far, all these guys are defensive players. On top of that, they brought in Nick Cross, right? Another safety. 2 years, $14 million. The guy's from Bowie, Maryland, right? He grew up a Redskins fan. He started all 17 games the past 2 seasons in Indy, 120 tackles both years, right? Cross, run stopper, man. Guy knows what the hell he's doing in there.
You got to figure when the Hall group came in and they got an F grade for the locker room and everything around the organization, they weren't having that. Last year, what did they get? Basically an F grade, an F minus, if there's such a thing. They got an E. they got an EFG is what they got. The lowest the lowest of the lows. So do you really think that they were going to do the exact same or have a repeat performance of last year? No. They heard what everybody said. They listened to what all the pundits said. They saw it. And they weren't going to go back down that road. Now, as you said, we don't know what the defensive coordinator, what is going to happen as of yet. But if we had to go by paper, which I know we can't, but if we had to go by paper, these are some damn good signings.
They definitely are, man. I mean, you bring in a guy, Levon Chason, another edge player from the Patriots, right? The Patriots were just in the Super Bowl, right? They signed him on a 1-year, $12 million deal. Right? That's a decent amount of money for a guy that they're bringing in here on a 1-year rental, right? And you're expecting him to address a major need. Pass rush was a huge problem we had on this team, right? And there was one stat that I saw. Let me see if I can go back to it. Chason and Oweh, right? Chason and Oweh themselves had twice as many pressures as any Commanders player on the roster last year. Chason had 52 quarterback pressures. Oweh had 52 pressures himself. Duran had 28. Dorrance Armstrong had 25. Kinlaw had 25, right? Those guys there bringing twice as many pressures. It's just, we gave quarterbacks too much time to pick us apart. Our secondary was bad because you're also covering for a longer period of time, right? Darryl is an anomaly because Darryl Green, one of the best players, Hall of Famer, I get it. But would Darryl have been as good for as long as he was without Charles Mann and Dexter Manley up front wreaking havoc, right?
Yeah.
Your back end is only as good as the front end as well. And I'm thinking these guys up front getting pressure are going to help the guys in the back that we're also bringing in and the guys that are there, right? And see here, diving in a little further, they brought in Charles Amenahue, another defensive lineman. So that is a ton of defenders we ended up bringing in. We also brought back a couple of names that you might remember, right? De'Ami Brown, back from Jacksonville.
Yeah.
De'Ami didn't really do too well in Jacksonville to the point of he actually got benched in the playoffs when the Jags were in the playoffs, right? So I was kind of shocked to see him come back here, but it's a 1-year, $3 million deal.
We needed some speed, and he has some speed, and he also can catch the ball. What happened in Jacksonville versus what happened with us the year prior? It's an anomaly. Things happen, but I'm happy that he's back. And the other thing is this: that we're going to bring in some other receivers to compete, and if you're not good enough, you'll be riding the pine. So I think it's a great signing, even if it's for depth, if you will, because guys get hurt all the time with these hamstrings. Any little thing, guys can be out. So you got to have him. And he was clutch. For the Detroit game, he was clutch.
Playoff game. Yeah. I mean, he definitely was.
Right? Yeah.
And that's a big thing, right? It's a 90-man roster that they're trying to fill out right now. So just because you're hearing these names doesn't mean that they're set in stone. Right? You're signing a guy like De'Ami on a 1-year, $3 million deal. Doesn't mean he's going to be here. I wish him all the best. I hope he does because he knows Jaden, right? But the thing is here, they needed to do something on offense for wide receiver room. So they also brought in Van Jefferson. Van was with the Titans. He's on a 1-year deal. He's more of a veteran depth receiver. So who knows what's going to happen with him. Chris Rodriguez got let go. They didn't bother going after Rodriguez. He signed for a 10-year deal. He signed, I want to say it was close to $10 million, right? I want to say, I got to go back and check. Might have been Jacksonville. But they let him walk. Instead, we signed Rachaad White from the Bucks, who I love this signing, right? White is on a 1-year deal. The dude can catch the ball, he can run the ball, and he can block, right? Since they let Chris Rodriguez go, the only running back on roster was Bill. So you got to bring in some more dudes to fill that roster up.
So I tell you what scares me. I shouldn't say what scares me. What bothers me a little bit is Rodriguez went to the Jacksonville Jaguars, and we play them obviously later this year, whether it be stateside or across the pond. We don't know yet. We're still waiting on that, which I still have my feelings about, but I'm not going to get into that right now. But the fact is, we're going to see him, and he's going to play with the chip on his shoulder, and he's going to have something to prove against us wherever, whenever we play them. So we're going to see if the defense will be able to stand the test of times against the Jaguars when we do finally play them. But yeah,
You know
he's
what?
with the
He's with the Jags. That's fine. We have so many players that we have revenge games against that we have to deal with. I just he always one step forward, two steps back. For whatever reason, he just never got off here. I don't know why. And it boggled my mind, but to pay him $10 million is what he's getting in Jacksonville, where we're getting Rashad White, a contract worth to be up to $2 million, right? With incentives potentially raising it to 4. To me, that's a steal. On top of that, guess who White played with in college?
Yeah, man. The reunion tour is back on, boy. Talk about new edition. This right here is a true any heartbreak tour.
So those that don't know, he played with Jaden in college,
Yeah.
right? So he's got that rapport with Jaden. And something listeners of the pod will know, we talked about the fact that Bill did not catch the ball out the backfield, right? He didn't do a ton there. He had some issues blocking, picking up blocks. White can do both of those things, has done both of those things. So I love that signing. One that I was kind of surprised, Jeremy McNichols is coming back. And I did not see that one coming. I feel that
he just signed, didn't he?
yeah, he just signed today.
Yeah, he just signed. Yeah, a 1-year deal, if I'm not mistaken.
And I feel that that's maybe another depth piece. And a lot of fans are thinking, well, you bring in McNichols, you're bringing in White, you got Jerome Ford from the Browns. Ford and White are on 1-year deals, and I think McNichols, I got to go back and check, might also be a 1-year deal. So people are saying, well, that means we're not going to draft Jeremiah Love in the first round. Guys, none of these free agent signings that Peters has made means we're doing anything in particular in the draft, right? He is just addressing the holes that the team has had. Fact of the matter is, one running back on the roster, right? We only have, 6 picks in the draft, so you need to beef up on defense. And those 6 picks, you can only fill so many gaps. We had the second most cap space once they got rid of Lattimore, and they're making best use of it.
And I just said that as far as the whole receiver room, those guys go down all the time. Running backs are the same way. You hate to see it, but I mean, those guys sprain ligaments, ankles, you know the deal, Achilles, you name it, man. And so you have to have a serious backfill of running backs. You just do. Somebody's going to be on the practice squad. Somebody's going to be playing snaps. Somebody's going to be doing all that stuff. So you have to do it the smart way. And I think that bringing McNichols back is a smart thing because he was a great third down back. How will he go against the new guys that are on board is yet to be seen. But that's what training camp and all that good stuff, 2-a-day practices is all about, to see who fits the best and who they're going to go with. And as I said, Ted, this is a great time because it's the unknown. And all you can do is just stare into the stars and just wonder. Well, we won't have to do that very much longer. So, guys, just hold tight. I'm going to continue to say this. Just hold tight and continue to fantasize because the rubber's going to hit the road here shortly.
Yeah. And I mean, last year, just looking at the depth chart, we had 3 running backs, right? Well, now we have 4, right? So someone's not making the team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Someone isn't going to get a chance to be here. So they're going to fight it out during mini camp and training camp and OTAs and preseason, and they'll see what's going on. But the fact of the matter is, Peters is doing what he needs to do to get this team younger and faster and fill in holes where, frankly, we had a ton. I think people can calm down now. And This is maybe my favorite signing, Chig Okonkwo. Ben said it. My opinion, huge disappointment. Hasn't done a ton. When you take a tight end that high, you expect him to do something, right? Zach Ertz, he's saying he wants to play again. I don't see
believe
it.
so.
I don't see him coming back here. We want to get younger and faster. Thank you, Zach, for everything you did here. But that injury he suffered towards the end of the season, I mean, more power to him if he can make it back. But the fact of the matter is, the team signed Chig Okonkwo from the Titans. Those that don't know who Chig is,
proven guy.
Dude is a freaking stud. Let me pull up his info here. 6'3", 238-pound, former Maryland Terrapin, has not missed a game during his first 4 years in the league, all with Tennessee. And despite inconsistent and sometimes downright bad quarterback play, he amassed 194 receptions for 2,000 yards and 8 touchdowns. A tight end that I respect, that I know a lot of you guys know who he is, Logan Paulson. Logan loves this dude. This is actually Logan talking about it on his Take Command podcast.
This dude is a stud. Man, he is a stud. He is small, but he is mighty. I'll tell you that right now. It looks like he's like 6'2". He's small. He looks like he's 6'2", like I think he's listed. If he's listed at 6'3", I don't believe that for 1 second. He's 239 pounds. That may be true. He's got a really thick lower half. But this dude's a maniac, man. And I love him. Like, if you wanted a guy to fit this role for Washington, this is the guy. And if I can see it, every team in the NFL can see it. So, like, in terms of like what service you just used, Spot Track, is that for the contract value? Like, in terms of what Spot Track is talking about, like, I think those numbers should be flipped. I think Chig's going to make more money than likely in free agency this year. Like, I think
just to be clear, what I gave you was like the value they got on their last contract. So that was not a projection moving forward.
No, sorry. Yeah. But in terms of guys that I watched that fit this kind of move role, like, it's him 100%. Like, this is the one. So again, he's not the biggest guy, but in terms of route suddenness, like, he is vertically fast, man. He can attack the seam. He can stress you vertically in the defense. Like, there's great stuff of him, like trying to get rerouted, chop the arm down, get behind that second level defender inside the safety, ball on target, big play, right? He runs corners at a high level, can stress you vertically from there. As a kind of choice angle route runner, there's a little bit of clunkiness to his feet, but he's explosive.
So that was Logan talking about Chig before we signed him. This was before free agency opened. And the fact that we actually ended up getting him is freaking phenomenal. And I went back, watched a couple of videos. Ever since we picked him up, everyone's been tweeting and putting stuff out that he's done. You ever play Madden?
Yeah.
Remember, like, that truck stick where you just hit the right thumbstick and you just lower the shoulder and just run guys over? That's basically watching him run, man. When he's in the open field and he's got that ball, to me, he is just looking to run dudes over. And he is fun to watch. And to me, he's just going to be another added weapon to Jaden. And don't get me wrong, Zach Ertz, great. One thing he did not have was a ton of yak, yard after the catch. He caught that ball. Dude was most likely going down because there was a guy on him, or there was a guy right behind him. He wasn't getting a ton of separation. Chig, he can definitely run that ball after the fact.
Well, one thing about Ertz that we do know is Ertz could find the open spot, and Jaden went to him a lot. He was his lifeline, if you will. So if we have a guy that knows how to read a defense and knows where to sit, how to stretch it, bro, I'm not worried at all. And I feel the more we talk about it, the better I feel. I really do. I know that Jaden had a rough year last year, and who knows why. And I'm not going to say injury. We know that we talked about it. He missed some things last year, whether he just didn't see it, whether he didn't feel comfortable, who knows what. But I'm hoping that this year his eyes are open and he sees the field like the 2024 Jaden that we all came to love. I think that we can do some serious damage. And he has the pieces. We always used to say, well, what pieces does he have around him? Well, the pieces of this puzzle are coming together, and he's got some good pieces, man. So I really hope that they can get together in the off season and throw some balls and kind of get a little, that's stuff that guys used to do all the time. They go to the beach and they get together and for a weekend or a week or whatever have you, and just throw the ball around and feel each other out. I'm hoping that they do that someplace so that they can get some familiarity with each other and just make the BNG family proud. That's what I'm hoping for.
I'm right there with you, man. And it's just so many things went wrong last year, and it just started from camp, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think Peter's realized that, like, we've got to change things up, right? And bringing back Mariota, right? I was take him or leave him, right? I was fine letting Mariota walk. I think the fact of the matter is Mariota tested the market, and there wasn't anything out there that looked as good. So he's sticking around. He's coming back here. So he can help Jaden learn more, with this Blau concept. Chris Paul, right? He's coming back. Right? And I actually thought, because they just signed Chris Paul recently, I thought Chris Paul was going to walk. He tested the market and didn't find anything better than here. Because I thought Coleman was just going to be our left guard. Right? So they've done some things to address the situation. To me, I'll give you my answer, but for you, which position group do you still want to beef up? Do you still want to add kind of a stud to?
I'm going to say the offensive line. I think the offensive line, I need Jaden to have as much protection as possible. And if there was a small chink in the armor, I don't want that. We don't need that. So I need the offensive line to give me somebody else who can plug it up so that Jaden has that nth of a second, if you will, more time. And
I hear you there. Yeah. And just bouncing off what you just said, I'm not exactly happy that Allegretti right now is our starting center.
Mm-hmm.
Right. To me, he was our guard. He can also play center. And then if you hear all the sound bites of Allegretti talking about how he loves playing center, this and that, of course the dude's going to say that. Right now, he's slotted as our starting center. He's not going to say, no, I don't want to do that, when he pretty much lost his job to Chris Paul last year, or Brandon Coleman Cosby's on the other side. So he's not going to play guard for us. So of course Allegretti is going to say he wants to play center. So I've got some concerns. You see some people out there saying, well, Allegretti is just as good as Biadasz. Well, fact of the matter is Biadasz was the starting center last year. If he was just as good, then why didn't he beat him out? So I'm right there with you. I have concerns at wide receiver. You got Terry, and I hope I'm wrong, but this is the last year he's got guaranteed money on his contract. Then we're going to go through this all over again. They didn't want to pay Terry when he was turning 31. So fast forward a couple years later, are they going to extend him again? I don't know. So you got Terry, then you've got Dyami Brown coming back here. Okay. Dyami had 30 catches, which is most with us. Not a ton. Right? You got Jalen Lane. Okay. It's not really a proven number two. You've got Luke, not really a number two. So to me, we still don't have that number two receiver that can line up beside Terry. And Debo is still out there, not under contract. No one's making a play for him. So I don't know if he just wants too much or what's going on. But to me, wide receiver is still a concern, and they can address it in the draft. A lot of people are saying, well, they're just waiting for Aiyuk. Have you heard all these stories coming out about Brandon?
I have heard a little bit, and I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence with it. I'll say this: if he's healthy and he is a great deal, I say go for it. But if there's any type of ambiguity, if you will, I don't want it. We don't have time for anybody's headaches, even though I think in some shape, form, or fashion, to be able to strap on a helmet with a face mask, you're a headache to somebody, but in a good way though. But I don't want any issues. We had our issues last year, as you said, and we saw where it got us. And I want both feet on the ground running. If he doesn't cost us a lot of money or draft picks, I say, and he's good in the head, and you've talked to him and you've vetted him the way that you need to, and truly understood why he did what he did in Frisco, then I say, okay, let's go for it. But I also believe that they're going to get some stud in the draft, or they're what do you call it? Unrestricted free agent. I feel it, bro. Receivers can happen. Everybody's out there. You may not need him. You may not.
Yeah, I just don't know if you can count on him, is the thing, right? He's still under contract with the Niners. The Niners don't want to cut him, right? The Niners are saying, we'll let him go for a 7th-round pick, right? The Commanders are not going to give up a 7th-round pick to bring in Brandon Aiyuk. The fact that we only have 6 picks in the draft, they don't want to give him up for a 7th, on top of the fact that everyone's thinking he's going to get cut. So why give up a pick to get him? There could be another team out there that's desperate, and they'll do it. But we let go of Tyler Biadasz early in the offseason so he could sign with another team, so he could find a new home. And you hear that all the time. Well, we let go in so-and-so. And what the teams do now is we let you go with a June 1st designation. The reason why teams do that is because it's more contract cap friendly for them. They're off the team and officially off the books come June 1, even though they decide to sign with another team. It looks like what the Niners are trying to do is just make this as painful as possible for Aiyuk, because he made it as painful as possible for them. So instead of just getting rid of him and dropping him and let him go someplace, they're trying to hold on to him for as long as they possibly can. So now you've got a bunch in the fan base that are saying, well, we'll address it when they get Aiyuk. There is no guarantee you're going to get a chance to A, get him, or B, do you even want the headache here? And can you count on him when he gets here? I don't know. I'm not too sure if you can.
I'd like to delve more into why he was going through what he was going through. I don't know the story, and I don't really want to try to guess it. I would love to know what made him do what he did and what happened. I don't want any rumors. If I could talk to the guy, I'd ask him. He probably wouldn't tell me, but I would love to know. Hey, man, what happened? And then make my decision from there.
Yeah, this is actually TJ Houshmandzadeh talking about Aiyuk and everything that happened out there from his perspective.
Okay. On TJ Houshmandzadeh's just for this topic. T, I was looking forward to doing this show with you today just to hear what you had to say to this question.
Listen, man, I know BA. I haven't talked to him in a while. Know him very well though, but I haven't spoken with him in a while. What's the question again?
Should any team want Brandon?
I knew that was the question. Yeah, I'm answering. Yes, they should want him.
Okay,
but you got to be careful. And I say this, I like BA, but I said this last week about Stephon Diggs, and this normally only happens when a player starts to get older. BA is still really young, fast, quick, explosive. But what he did last year is kind of crazy. You got all this guaranteed money. You ain't showing up. You're getting fined. And you basically forego, what was it, over $30 million, right? Mm-hmm. Over $30 million? Like, if you're a team and you give him a good contract, is this what you're going to get? Because this is what he has shown us. Signed his deal with the Niners. Bad luck he gets hurt. Don't want that. But it's how he handled everything after that. Yes, he's going to get signed. But if you're a team, you got to structure that contract the right way. You got to make sure that you protect yourself because of what he's shown you to be. John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, they talking to their people across the NFL, telling them everything that went down and how it occurred. And so, yes, I would want him on my team. I would. But it got to be at the right price. I got to make sure financially that we are protected as a team and organization, because I've never seen anybody do this at so young of an age, got so many years ahead of him. I've never seen this.
Aiyuk gave up $30 million. Right? The Niners had their clause in the contract, so they got out of it. Aiyuk could have tried to fight it with NFLPA, didn't. Right? I'm not walking away from $30, let alone $30 million. Right? I mean,
30 cents.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen change on the ground and my back's hurt, so I don't pick it back up. But that's crazy to me, man. So some people are saying, well, maybe he wanted to play with Jaden so bad that he just really wanted out of that contract. $30 million. Come on. Yeah. I'm sorry. There is no way that you want to play with some dude so bad that you're going to give up $30 million, knowing that whatever contract you sign after that ain't going to be anywhere near that.
And how old is he? Majada said he's a young guy. How old is he?
Let me see here.
I mean, because I'm sure he's probably
27.
That's upper 20s. I mean, okay, so that's.
Well, he turns 28 literally tomorrow.
Okay, so that's still fairly young, but that's seasoned though. So once again, there's something else that's going on that we don't know about, and I'd like to get to the bottom of it. Was there bad blood? What happened to make him want to do that? Obviously someone said something to him.
And you would think that, let's just say someone did say something, that something would leak out from his side, right? Someone, whether it's his agent leaking it to somebody, would say something. You haven't heard anything from the Aiyuk side, right? And Hushmanzada is talking about John Lynch. Guess who Adam Peters worked for before he came here? John Lynch. So best believe Lynch is going to talk to Peters and say something to him about that whole mess if he's really interested in bringing him over here. You don't think Peters is going to try and find out what the hell happened? And I get that Jaden and Aiyuk were friends and they played together and all that.
It only goes so far. Yeah.
Seriously, right? I've got friends that have hit me up asking, can you give me a recommendation for this job? And I've had to flat out say, I can't help you out there just because we've grown apart. I know who they are now, right? They're not the person that I grew up with, or maybe I distanced myself from them for a particular reason. And they know I've got a contact that they want to leverage. I had someone hit me up, say, can you get me in touch with the Commanders in their ticket department? Because I think I'd do a good job over there. Knowing that I've got contacts over there, no, I can't do that. I'm not putting my name on the line for you to do that. And to me, it's similar to the same situation. And B was talking about, B Mitch, do you really want that weight on Jaden to try and rehab his brother Aiyuk's image and get him straight? I don't.
Well, that kind of, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't he the same cat that exposed the playbook that Jaden? So there's some little bit of history, even though, it's coming back to me now. I do remember that it's like, dude, why would Jaden's your boy? Why would you go behind his back and post a playbook?
Just different videos, not thinking about the right stuff, man. It's
So he's got to answer to all that stuff. It's weird. People have a short memory, and once we started thinking about it, he did do that, and so we got to ask him, well, are you going to give the playbook out again? There's so many levels to this. It's just not one issue. There's several issues, and so you really have to sit down and talk to him and get these things resolved before you can just plop down hypothetically $30 million that he may not take.
Oh, there's no way he's going to get anywhere near that in a contract. It's going to have to be a proven contract to me with clauses on you having to be at X amount of workouts and all this other stuff, similar to, like a Kyler Murray type contract where you can't just be playing Madden the entire time, right? You've got to do this and do that and actually show up and show me that you like football. I mean, there are some players that I have met that they don't like football. They are damn good at it, but it's a job for them. And there are some players I've met where they love it and they would do it for free, right? And I don't know which one of those Aiyuk falls into. Don't know the guy, never met the guy, but to walk away from 30, I mean, okay, we're shy of 30 million, but you guys know what I'm talking about. To walk away from that kind of money,
yeah, upwards to $30 million. Yeah.
I don't get it. And to be radio silent this entire time, where the NFLPA will fight for you. And I mean, you are paying them to be a part of that brotherhood, and you're not doing anything to fight it at all. So wide receiver, for me, still a huge hole. It's a big gap, and Okonkwo can only take away so much pressure from Terry. And yeah, I guess you could bring Debo back, but we talk about getting younger and faster, right? And we're not getting younger and faster bringing back a Debo.
That doesn't fit the mold. Yeah.
And you can draft a wide receiver at 7. Some think they should draft a wide receiver at 7. Now I'm leaning more towards bringing in a Love at 7, just because Jaden needs a Robin to his Batman. And to take the weight off of him, and yes, Ted, that's another running back, and that's 5. But you know what? Okay, Rachaad White, 1-year deal. The dude from the Browns, I forgot his name already, 1-year deal. Jerome Ford, Jeremy McNichols, another 1-year deal. Okay, one of those guys is gone. To me, to bring in a game changer like that. Yeah.
They're going to be on the practice squad, yeah.
I'm not sure if that could happen because White could get picked up by another team. You have no way to protect him on the practice squad. So, and I can't see McNichols lasting on our practice squad. I can see someone definitely scooping him up. But you know, there's option. Can you stash Bill? I doubt you could stash Bill in a practice squad because of how many touchdowns he had last year.
Yeah, not after last year's. Yeah, I don't see that
so, either. You know, there's things that they can do and play with, and you know, maybe tell someone, oh, you know, your hamstring hurts, and the guy's sitting there shaking like, no, it doesn't, and they're saying, yeah, it does. You know, all of a sudden you're going on short-term IR just to kind of hide you and stash you type of thing.
Yeah, we've seen that.
But the fact of the matter is, guys, calm down. We have a long time until the first game of the regular season. And the first day of free agency, people wanted Peters fired. That's how crazy it was up in here.
Wow. Yeah, calm down, folks. Simmer down.
I mean, dude is cooking. And it's fun to watch because I don't follow all these other teams. I used to do fantasy football. I think I told you a long time ago. I stopped doing that. So I don't keep up with these other guys. But hearing how excited the rest of the NFL is about what we did, I mean, shoot. This is let's see here. This is Ian Rappaport talking about the Commanders' offseason moves.
This year they got younger and seemingly better. Now, they were in different position. You know, a couple years ago, I would say they were in a position of like, all right, solidify the roster, bring in some older guys, need leadership, set the culture. And it took them, along with Jaden Daniels being awesome, took them to the NFC title game and had us thinking they were a team on the rise. Last year, the older players got injured and mostly looked old, and everything went the wrong way. This year, they got more athletic and faster. Obviously, Odafe Oweh to a $100 million contract yesterday, or I don't even know when that was, 65 days ago. That was one. Today, 2 intriguing signings started the day off by them signing Kayvon Chason, the former first-rounder, really impressed last year with the Patriots, a career-high 7.5 sacks. He gets a 1-year, $12 million deal, and because it's just a 1-year deal, has the opportunity to cash in again. And then Okonkwo, the former tight end from the Tennessee Titans, gets a 3-year, $30 million deal, another really, really good athlete, guy who can really run. At the very least, the Washington Commanders got faster, and that is to
me, I don't know if I'm giving Peters an A, right? I'm giving him a B because defense. A-? I'm not going A-, man. I can't with the center and the wide receiver still kind of up in the air and everything else, because I feel like you could have kept Biadasz, right? I feel like you could have paid him and kept him. And to me, until Allegretti plays a full 17-game season, some people are saying, I think it was Logan Paulson saying that center wasn't that big a priority. Then you have Jay Gruden that said the center touches the ball every play.
Every play, but him and the quarterback. Those are should be the most 1 and 2 important positions. Who calls out the defense? Who calls protection? I mean, come on, man. Don't pull the wool over our eyes like that. Don't do that, because you get a guy who can't. It's no different than Bill missing blocks on a blitz. You can't, a center who can't call out the mic, or who puts the wrong package in blocking scheme. Nah, man. I mean, come on. Don't do that to us. We're smarter than that.
Yeah, I'm right there. That's why I can't give him an A. To me, it's a solid B for now. And then we'll see what we do in the draft and address everything from there. But speaking of draft, man, so you going to Pittsburgh?
It's still up in the air. Inquiring minds want to know. It's still up in the air.
So for those of us that are not going to Pittsburgh, I've decided I'm not going to go. And I was able to procure some more World Cup tickets. Your boy's going to be following Team USA around this summer. And it ain't cheap. So I am not going to Pittsburgh. I'm saving money to do some World Cup soccer stuff. The team is hosting a draft party, 2 draft parties. So for those of you that are not aware, Thursday, April 23rd, that is the first night of the draft at 7:00. They're going to do this at Northwest Stadium, right? You can get the tickets online on the Commanders website. So they did this years ago, and I remember specifically that when we drafted Emmanuel Forbes, I was standing beside Tanya Snyder when Ron Rivera called her to tell him who she was taking. And she said, "You're the coach. I'm going to go with whatever you want to do." In hindsight, that was a massive mistake.
Although even though he's shining a little bit out in LA, but I hear you. So is that when Dan was on the yacht and he couldn't come back stateside?
I think that's, he was avoiding subpoenas. Yeah. So Tanya was just running and doing everything. Yeah. And
acting CEO.
Yeah. All of our first round picks during the Ron Rivera era are gone. Not on this team. So, and then every year they always do this. There is another draft party on Saturday the 25th at 11:30 at National Harbor.
At the Harbor.
So you and I were in Detroit for the draft. I remember coming back and then being at the Harbor that Saturday. So that one's a ton of fun. They always have a bunch of legends, live entertainment, a bunch of giveaways out there. One year it poured rain. You wouldn't be able to tell by looking at all the people out there, dude. It was just, no one gave a damn. Everyone was still out there in the burgundy and gold.
Having a good time the way it's supposed to be. Repping it hard.
And guys, the tickets don't cost anything. And I know a lot of you saying, "Oh, the tickets don't cost anything. Why should I RSVP?" A, it gives them a heads up on how many giveaways to bring to the event. And B, it lets the people running it to know how much staff to bring in. We've all been to restaurants and bars where they don't have enough staff because they didn't expect all these people to show up. You don't want to have that experience there. So you get a chance, RSVP. Doesn't take long, and also doesn't cost you anything. And you'll see me there. You'll see Rally there. All of our other brothers and sisters in the burgundy and gold celebrating. And I'm looking forward to being out there for the draft party with everybody. Thursday night, who knows? We got one pick. They might trade out of it, and we draft the next day. But all I know is when we're all together, it's a blast nonetheless.
Heck yeah. I've got great memories at these draft parties and great pictures. And so I can't wait to experience them with the newer fans that may not have experienced it, because you guys are going to have a great time.
Anybody get to wear any of the new guys going to get to wear the chain when they're out there?
New players?
On that Saturday. Yeah.
New players, of course. I always say only the players get to wear the rally chain. And with that being said, I hear the music playing in the background. Thank you guys for riding with us on this DMV Mess Hall. We greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe button, and even share, because we're still a fledgling operation, if you will, and we're growing. We've grown leaps and bounds, but with you guys' help, we were able to do those things. So thank you, and we appreciate it. Ted, I'm going to see you in a week. Listeners, I'll see you guys in a week as well. And thanks for riding with us. That's going to do it. Remember, you rep it hard, or you don't rep it at all. Rally Captain Tailgate Ted. We'll see you on the next one.